All right, we're live on Goons versus BTT on Sand River. Looking at from Troll's perspective in EVR. Now, Sand River is a map that we don't play much. It's a very high skill cap map, which means you can do a lot of stuff to outplay and out-rotate your opponent. Now, your initials don't matter that much, although we'll see how we deploy. But rotations on this map and holding key positions really matter. So I think I'll be pausing this one a lot, and we'll just be kind of watching what's going on right off the bat. It looks like you're going to send one EBR south, one EBR north. All right. I don't like the S-Conk. I assume that's because we don't have chieftains, but in chief meta, we should understand that S-Conks are shit. STB is not really needed on this map either, by the way. Weird type of run by Troll, a bit aggro, but actually really aggro now. Probably should die for that. Okay, so we're spotting this cross, and this is very bad for them. This is very bad. They're slow. So I don't think we're gonna discuss much of how you're outplaying them because you're just gonna shit on them every time. They're too slow to do anything. But that's good news. So if we take a look, this cross here actually is always lit by this EBR. And that means it's generally the job of Troll, or this EBR, or sorry, it's this guy's job to back Troll down. He did a terrible job of that. Troll wasn't even contested going to aggro. And look how aggro Troll is now, and he still has yet to take a shot. Now the E3 has shot, so this is a bit aggro too, but no, this EBR never contested Troll while he was up here, which is huge, which means you're going to light everything here. And this 907, this is an incredibly powerful position, not for a 907 necessarily, more so for a Chief. So you probably want to put a Chief with turbo is fast enough to get there. But you can then, with that 907/Chief, respot this entire cross. 907s have enough camo to redline it, I think, past the Chief. Maybe not, though. But yeah, this is probably the most important position on this map. In terms of how we split, I don't actually like the hard split with north and south, and the reason for that is because we tried it in Give Up and Bulba, and the problem we were encountering is that good teams, they will simply hard take south from you up until the G line, and then they'll rotate on hold, and you think these guys can get out, but they can't. Right? What they can do is they can move like a Chief up here, and then for about 5 or 6 minutes shell these guys out. All right, and then when they're weak, they can over push it, or just completely back them up with the shelling of the artillery, where they're playing safe, by the way. Especially if they have an EBR doing that, which backs your EBR off, right? Because if they've got Chiefs on this ridge, your EBR can't play, and their EBR can just kind of get free reign. And they just shell the fuck out of this for like 5 or 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and then they can repush north or mid. So that is a big issue, and I don't think Lauren has seen that yet, simply because one, we don't play Sand River, and two, the Elo clans that we're playing, I'm not sure if I don't think they understand really how artillery is supposed to be used. I think that's a good way of putting it. But yeah, the split, it's not great. This absorbs a north push fairly well, but no one should really be north pushing right off the bat. You won't see that with higher elo. It simply won't happen. Generally, how I would set up is you need to set up fairly strong south. You like getting this guy here. It's really nice. And you can set up an A3. Your EBR needs to scout before you start taking up. We're taking up fairly aggro because we see this 0 line, which is absolutely fine. You guys could probably even hold it with like 9-0s versus patents and shit. Like, you'd probably even hold it. But yeah, just going back to this south play, this is also too dangerous. This Chief in F5, again, it doesn't seem dangerous, but against a good clan, they're going to take this J and K line, and they're going to play artillery safe while their EBR just fucks around in here. This guy's permalit. He can't back off, by the way. Once their EBR gets here, this guy's perma-screwed. And these guys have a really hard time too, and their artillery, all they have to move is down here, and they just absolutely shit on this. We tried our best and Give Up. It was an attack defense format. We tried our best to play passive in here, but it never worked. It literally never worked. Every single time they either overpushed us or they just beat us to shit with artillery. Even if they had less artillery, they have the better arty trades. Um, so, and that's the thing about playing this west side. It's actually worse for playing this west unless you're going to play more aggro. But even if you're going to play more aggro, you almost have to try to hard take and back them off to here, and then just kind of play with like an EBR chieftain up here, shelling out with artillery or anything here. Kind of the opposite, but not quite, because it is easier in the east because of how low all of this shit is, and how hard the artillery shots is from your side and how easy it is from their side. Because this, although this is a low ground to here, this is completely flat to artillery over here. So you do have to keep that in mind. Like I said, higher elo clans will punish this. This particular strat will get punished very, very heavily by higher elo clans. In terms of everything else, the super conks are fine. D2 super conk already can be moving up. And I know I've paused for a while here, but there's a lot to talk about on Sand River. Like I said, Sand River is one of those maps where just straight rotating and EBR play is you're gonna win every time if you've got better rotations, and if you see them quickly, that's the big thing. And it's not just on Lorne or the Caller, right? It's these other groups, like it's the Meds playing together, it's the EBR, it's the guys mid, it's the West group understanding as a unit that they can move up or they have to fall back, or there's certain positions that they shouldn't be playing because of artillery, or that they should be playing because they're pressuring up, stuff like that. So it's definitely not all on Lorne. You guys, everyone has to be kind of thinking. And this map is one of the hardest. This is why Sand River is a staple in the competitive formats like 5v5, 6v6, 7v7, and it's been like that since essentially the dawn of time. Sand River has been in the game forever. It's really, really well known, right? I've been playing it for a long time in the smaller formats. It's a, believe me when I say it's a hard map to master. It's very, very difficult to get the rotations down, and especially if you're playing against another caller who knows what they're doing and has experience, you're both kind of going to be rotating. It's going to come down to a lot of artillery bleed, most likely. Now, one more thing, you can't camp on this map. It doesn't work, really. It's very difficult to. You have to take a side, and that's why I don't like this huge split. Now, like I said, again, we're going to continue here. Against these, disgusting HE pen. Probably shouldn't be firing him HE, but Troll makes it work. Against these clans, this hard split can work because generally, Troll, your EBR, your 9-0, you're going to have their shit lit early enough that you can react to anything you want. But like I said, against like if you play this against Give Up, like not on player skills, simply on rotations, you would lose every time. Their EBR is doing something stupid. I don't think Troll needs to be here anymore. He can back off. There's just no point in being an EBR here. And it looks like we're looking at down south now. It looks like you guys are pushing that south. Pushing that south all the way is very difficult if they're stacked, especially if they're stacked over in F7, which they can't be. Your Chieftain, by the way, in F5 should be in D6 right now. And the Chieftain plays right here, and he denies anything here, and even has shots on this cross. That's, again, you learn that. It's a lot in the smaller formats. Ooh, very dangerous by Troll. He should die. But he was midair, so he juked him. Their EBR went way too aggro. Their EBR is throwing. You've taken the entire map now. It's quite obvious they're just hard holding on the 0 line, which is impossible for them, because what that allows you guys to do, and I assume you'll do it shortly here, is you just take this ridge from them. You come down to here. You can hold with 1 or 2 tanks here. You can stack a couple tanks here just for shots, and then you can honestly just rotate a lot of tanks back through north, retake north, and they can't do anything. Like, this is retarded by them. So again, this isn't really about the strat. Nice light Troll. This isn't really about the strat. It's more about what happens on Sand River. I don't even want to say what you can expect, because you can't really expect the same thing. It's completely rotation based and vision based on Sand River. You can do some cool baits. Yeah, you guys are gonna win. E3 slow tanks don't work on Sand River. Okay, so yeah, that's another thing. You can't win with slow tanks on Sand River for the reasons I've been already discussing. It's a fast played map. Okay, you take aggro positions. You can stop for a bit, you let artillery work it out, and a lot of the time it will devolve into a stalemate once both teams have taken fairly aggressive positions. But then when one team decides to push, it's all over really quickly. Either it's a win or a loss. And slow tanks just have no place on this map. That's why super conks aren't created equal, right? Super conks are really good on some maps, and then they're just completely abysmal compared to chiefs on others, right? And this is one of those maps where the super conk just it can't even come close to holding a candle to the chief. On something like Mannerheim Line, I don't know why that one came to mind, but maps like that, yeah, super conks, chiefs, whatever. But on this one, you just need chiefs, and good job that we're going to get chiefs in campaign. It looks like you might 50-0 them here. Never mind. Yeah. This is a comprehensive spanking simply because you took aggro positions, and you can see what they did and how it will never work and why we should never do it, right? The thought of stacking zero line, playing heavy and camping, trying to use the bushes, it does not work on this map. It will never work. Now, I think we made some misplays with our position too, but I've discussed that, and hopefully we get